If you haven't been on our webinars, thank you so much for joining us. We're more than excited to have you. Tim and I have been running partnerships for ROK Financial since the company's inception. And basically, our whole focus here is to help you leverage what we've built for small business owners, right? So that's what today's call is about. We're going to do a deep dive into the power of partnering with ROK Financial. We got a pretty decent presentation in terms of the amount of slides, not too crazy, but definitely some impactful information in there. I can assure you everybody who attends is going to get a copy of that presentation. Anybody who registered will also get a copy of the presentation and the recording. This is being recorded to answer that question in case anybody had it. But we're super duper excited to get rocking with you guys here. So as we get going, if you are looking for more information, I know Lauren just threw in the chat. Feel free to copy and paste that directly into your browser and click around as we're talking, kind of talking at you here for the next few minutes. We're going to share our screen, get this thing rocking, go through the presentation, and then ultimately the best part of this is the live Q&A at the end. So if you have questions as we go throughout the presentation, dump those right into the Q&A, because what we do is start right back at the top of that thing and answer your questions in the order that they kind of came in. So definitely excited again to be on with you guys and get this thing rocking. And if you need us, dump it in the Q&A. We're monitoring it the whole time. Shout out to Lauren and Jen who got our backs kind of on the behind the camera tip today.
Absolutely. Yeah, as they come up, you might forget it at the end of it, so just throw it in there as it comes up. And if there's any questions that go unanswered, just fill out the QR code at the end of the presentation. You'll get paired with a member of our team who's just as excited as we are to talk to you and share some information. So without further ado, let's get into the power of partnering with ROK Financial in 2024.
Absolutely. So a quick little intro to myself. I'm our VP of Business Development. Been doing nothing but partnerships in this industry for the last 8 years, and definitely excited to tell you guys more about what's going on today. One of the things that I always stress on these webinars is financing is not an if, it's a when. And when you think of financing, think of ROK. But no, besides that part is financing is a moving target. As rates change, as banks change their requirements, things are constantly changing. One thing that we've tried to do is remain the same, but you can't remain the same and continue to deliver the best product. So we've done some really cool things recently that I don't know how we've highlighted them on some of the webinars in the past. So we're super duper excited to tell you guys about the latest and greatest that we have for you guys as partners with ROK, ways to leverage what we've built.
Yeah, I'm Timothy. I'm the Director of Business Development. I work more so directly on internal team, helping with active relationships, active partnerships, helping to further establish existing relationships. Tony and I are available 24/7 for you if you want to be a partner with us. So feel free to take down either of our information. And hey, why not try both of us if one of us doesn't answer, which is very unlikely. But
Tim prides himself on the fastest response time. Put him to the test.
Please.
He can't respond during this hour, but I promise you, any other one, he's going to get back at you.
Let's get into it.
So let's get rocking, right? Who are we? It's important that you understand what we do, right? From the very, very highest of levels, we help business owners gain access to business financing options, right? There are a ton of different products that are out there for small businesses when it comes to financing. It just services the different needs that they have, whether they're buying a building or they're using it for inventory or they're buying equipment. These are all different products that might be available. There's different ways that you can service that need. What we pride ourselves on is the process that we've built in helping business owners gain access to the best funding for themselves. So it's built on the backs of the team here, right? So that's probably the most important thing that I want to highlight it on, this part of the presentation is leverage the team. You don't need to know every in and out of commercial financing. Leave it up to guys like Tim and his team, and they'll help you leverage what we've built.
Yeah, no, I like to think of this scenario that I've explained hundreds of times where, you're a business owner, you're running a company, you're so focused working in your business that you don't really have time to work on your business. And one of those things is finding the right financing option for you. You can go online and you can type in business line of credit and you can type in business loan and see 10, 20, 30 different companies. But now you're working with 10, 20, 30 different companies, filling out multiple applications, working with all these different points of contact, all of which you might not know will say yes to you. So when you work with a marketplace like ours, in essence, what you're giving your clients access to is simple financing options in a very streamlined platform and getting access to them. You'll see in a few slides, we offer a variety of different products, and being a marketplace, we're going to qualify your clients for the best available products that are out there for their specific business.
Absolutely. And again, leverage us. You don't have to do this, on your own. So what does it actually mean to partner with ROK Financial? Some of the questions that we're going to really get into today is, what is our mission? Well, you just saw that. It's to help business owners when it comes to small business financing. What are the benefits of becoming a partner? How can I become a partner? What does it take to become a great partner, right? We really tried to dive in here on what it would take for you to be successful within our platform, right? So what do you actually need to qualify? And more than the topic at the top of this slide, what I want you to think of this as is, who do we actually help, right? That's what this slide is. This is where you start to kick in from really, consumer or personal financing into actual business financing, right? So what does it take to qualify for business financing? Number one thing that I always point out is a business checking account. You might think that that's silly. But a lot of business owners these days, there's so many digital ways of doing business. They kind of get caught up in just generating the revenue before maybe even setting up their business the way that it should be. So definitely make sure you have that business checking account. 5 to 10K at least in monthly gross revenue, right? So basically, anywhere from $60,000 to $120,000 annually in revenue. And what does that do? That creates affordability, right? So that's where these banks and lenders are going to look at and say, hey, how much money can you afford to borrow, right? And then time in business, they want to see that you've been around for a little bit here, right? 3 to 6 months, not anything crazy, just enough to start to see some transactional history inside of that bank account. What would you say, Tim, outside of the three things that are in front of us, that really kind of hits home on who the core of who we help is?
So being a marketplace, we are in essence industry agnostic, meaning that we can really help any style business. There's a few industries that we do have restrictions on, but for a majority of the time, we're saying yes more than we're saying no if you're in a restricted industry from a traditional standpoint, right? Now, where someone like us really comes into play is if you're working with a business, let's say you're doing consulting work, you're filing their taxes, you're financing equipment for them, they likely have opportunities to grow their business, or they have challenges that are in front of them that are preventing them from growing their business. And when alternative financing is used as an instrument to help that, it's going to lead to growth, or it's going to lead to further maintainment of your company and allow you to grow by accessing capital through a platform like ours. So not only do you obviously need these qualifications to qualify, but in essence, you really need an opportunity in front of you to actually utilize the financing for, or you need something in front of you that, hey, if I can obtain $10,000, I'll be able to pay off my vendor, or I'll be able to buy bulk product, or I'll be able to spend money on marketing. In essence, I think outside of these three, business needs opportunity.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you brought that up, because if I could just paint like a more direct picture with that, right? Let's say you have somebody whose business qualifies for, I don't know, $20,000, $30,000, right? $20,000, $30,000 would be a really, really nice vacation. I think we could agree that $20,000 to $30,000, you're going to have a great time. You go away for, maybe a week, 10 days, maybe 5, and you really spend a lot of money every day, right? But that's a nice vacation. So if you're a business owner and your business qualifies for 20, 30 grand, you might be thinking, hey, I'm going away with the family. Well, we would suggest that that is not what you do when you borrow money. And more than suggest, we would, in fact, probably not even fund that deal based on their use of the funding. The way that this capital works is, like Tim mentioned, you want to be saving money or making money. Because guess what? When you borrow money, the one thing I can guarantee is it's going to cost you money to borrow. So what the cost of borrowing is needs to be outweighed by that opportunity, like Tim was just talking about. So I'm so glad that you brought that up because, when you think about it, I know a lot of people go on vacation, especially the summer's coming up. You could be thinking about, hey, can I get away for a little bit? Let's make the business make the money. And then when we have that profit, we take the profit and we go spend it on something like that.
Yeah. And before we move on to our next slide, one thing that's really important to note is the difference between ROK Financial's lending requirements and most traditional banks' lending requirements.
Absolutely.
Most of the businesses that you're going to be working with that are bringing up financing oftentimes go to traditional resources first and are unfortunately told no. And that's why they're looking at alternative routes to financing because they can't find it in-house at their bank or they can't find it traditionally. Most banks and SBA outside of Startup for SBA are going to require 2 years in business.
At least two, potentially three.
They're going to require multiple years of financial documents, profit and loss statements, tax returns, balance sheets, and they're also going to have cash flow requirements. They're going to have a mandate of you need to have X amount of money in your bank account at all times in order to qualify for the amount that you're looking for.
Yeah, not to go crazy, but you're going to have, EBITDA, debt service coverage ratios, and all these different things that the banks are going to try to start to throw at you. Whereas, when you talk about something that's a little bit more flexible, like our guidelines, because we're where we are as a marketplace, a lot of that stuff, there is some give and take around it as long as there's affordability within the business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep going.
So what makes us ROK? Tony's talked a little bit about our process, our team, what we do as a company, but there's a lot more that goes into it that you're going to be able to leverage when you become a partner on our platform.
Absolutely.
We're going to go into each one of these slides individually. So we'll start with speed. Outside of obviously having the lenders and having the relationships, it's getting access to those lenders in a time frame that meets the need of the borrower. Now, let's say you have someone that's in a cash flow crunch. They need to meet payroll or they need to pay a vendor or they need to come up with capital to be able to complete a job. If you go to the bank and apply, you're going to be waiting 1 to 2 weeks to just likely, unfortunately, hear a no. Whereas when you come to a marketplace like ours, you're going to have a discovery call before you apply. You're going to have expectations set within 30, 45 minutes of a phone call. And typically we're getting same day or next day approvals for businesses to review. Now, we've had scenarios where people have came to us and funded same day because they've expressed the need that, hey, I need access to financing ASAP. And what we'll do is we'll let them know all of the closing documentation, all of the pre-approval documentation, and we'll collect all of that on the upfront so we can ensure we're meeting their timeline.
Absolutely. And I know we're going to dive a little bit more into like the lending relationships that we have and how deep those bonds really are, right? But just to give you some insight into why that's important in the speed realm, right? We've worked with the lenders that we've worked with for some of them 15 plus years now. And because of that, we have very strong relationships from personal friendships with a lot of the reps that we work with inside of these these banks and lenders that we work with, but also down to the technology, right? We are API'd in with our lenders. So that means instantaneous underwriting and approvals and instantaneous sharing of information back and forth. So if you are a partner and you upload some information for one of your borrowers, once that information is aggregated throughout our system, basically we pull out what's relevant and we share that through the APIs with our lenders. They're, again, giving us that instantaneous decisioning and ultimately moving the deal more quickly for you, your customer, and everybody else that's involved in any one of the transactions. So, we have a saying here that time kills all deals. The last thing that we want to be doing is waiting around, right? If we have the ability, we want to be getting stipulations, moving towards funding, because that's one less thing that you and your customers have to worry about.
Yeah, absolutely. I see a lot of people raising their hands in the middle of these slides. If there are any questions, just feel free to put them in the Q&A area, and I can promise you we're going to get to them by the end.
Absolutely.
So talking about network, we've talked about the speed in which we have access to the lender relationships that we have. Now let's actually talk about those relationships. Being a marketplace, we aim to be a one-stop shop for all business financing needs. This means that somebody that comes in with a 600 credit score is going to qualify for a completely different product with a completely different lender than someone that comes in with an 800 credit score, right? So what this means for you is that if you have a diverse client base and you're working with people in all industries, in all states, in all time and business ranges, in all credit ranges, we're going to be the one-stop shop to help them find access to the best product, regardless of whatever their strengths or their weaknesses are with their application, right? So all of the programs that are listed here, you're typically going to see outside of secured lending options, a 24 to 48 hour approval process, whether you're looking for 10,000 or you're looking for 2 million, because we have the speed and we have the network to find those options and access those options in as quick as a possible time frame for the borrowers that are being referred to us from people like yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I know we kind of switched back and forth between like the lender and the program slide. What you should understand is we have 75 plus lenders on the platform. They're made up of these different products that you see here on the screen in front of you. Basically, every lender, like Tim was mentioning, has what they call a risk appetite, right? And what a risk appetite basically says is, what are they willing to do and not do as a lender? Well, that's going to start with, hey, what programs are they offering? And then what does it actually take to qualify for some of those programs, right? So just keep that in mind as you are working with us. It's not that all 75 of our lenders are offering every one of these products. No, they kind of specialize in, hey, we do, restaurant lending, or we do specifically term loans, or hey, we'll do SBA in these industries, or we do specifically equipment financing. That's where ROK comes in. ROK manages all those lending relationships, like we were just talking about, that network of lenders. And then we establish, based on a customer's needs, which lenders are going to make the most sense and which products are ultimately going to be where we apply and ultimately look to get those approvals and fundings.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're probably looking at some of these programs. Maybe some of them you're familiar with, maybe some of them you aren't. The best part about working with us is we're going to help your client qualify for the best available product based on what they're looking for. Yeah. And with that being said, I mentioned earlier that, typically we're going to do a discovery call with every single business that gets referred into us. A lot of times a business owner comes in thinking, hey, I need an SBA loan. And then upon learning about where they're utilizing financing, we find out they're a better client for a line of credit that they can pay off in 3 to 4 months rather than having to pay off a 5 to 10 year loan. So know that if you have a client that's in need of financing and they're not sure what's best for them, our team is designed and our process is designed to help understand what their business is looking to accomplish and how the programs available in our marketplace can help them accomplish that. That next step is then pairing them with the best available lenders that they can qualify for.
Absolutely. Our whole process isn't built around you having to take the capital. Our whole process is built around on you being able to obtain the capital. Yes or no is always going to be up to the business owner. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So how do we do it, right? Again, the one thing that's missing from this slide is you. You guys, as our partners, literally generate 100% of our business. We don't directly market to business owners really at all. The marketing that we do, you're looking at it. This is a form of marketing for us. We host a webinar. We generate some conversations with people like you guys on the call. And ultimately, we use that to meet more business owners. But what we then do is put all of this resource back into place for you. So the best thing that I could ask you to think like would be the CEO of your own commercial finance lending arm, right? Where you are able to leverage our team, the marketing, the technology, the sales, right? That's where all of the support is going to come in. We are going to make sure that anything in terms of marketing support or sales support or technical support that you're going to need is taken from top to bottom, as serious as it needs to be, whether that's direct access to the portal or needing access to our marketing for custom marketing materials or things like that, or just leveraging our sales team for their knowledge and being able to take deals from application to approval and approval to funding.
Yeah. And on top of this, most direct lenders, the platform that we have where we're comprised of over 75 plus lenders, all of those lenders, they require references, they require applications, they require credit checks, they require licensing, also brokerage licensing, things of that nature. So if you're someone that's been doing this for 30 years, or you're someone that got this invite 3 days ago and said, hey, I want to get into this platform is perfect for you because you're going to be provided with multiple different levels of support. Whether you need it or you don't, it's up to you to take advantage of it. Tony himself has recorded multiple levels of training that's available in our portal. We have a bunch of marketing material that we're going to talk about in a few slides. But whether you're very, very experienced and you're looking to outsource some of your business because you're ready to get out of it, or you're someone that's full-fledged, ready to get into it, this is definitely going to be a good platform for you in regards to support, training, material, and everything that we have here.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of dive into some of that training and marketing and what's actually going on here, right? You have the ability to earn overrides on any fundings that you provide direct referrals to. You can build out your own team that will also be able to get paid on their own referrals, where you'll earn an override on anything that they fund. We give you all of the marketing support that you can need. If I could just put it into 3 buckets for you, lane number 1, you can leverage ROK. And what I mean by that is our programs, our branding, our marketing now becomes yours. You can share all of that stuff as your own, from video to social media to ads. Yeah, like ads that you can run on the web. There's email templates. There's all sorts of marketing support in there. Lane number 2 is co-branded. You can add your branding to our information, and it tells the story of why you've partnered with ROK to offer all that we're able to offer, right? And then lane number 3 is the white label lane, where you can brand everything as your own and leverage ROK's programs and team on the back end as an extension of your own. So there's those 3 different lanes. Whatever makes the most sense for you is where we want to deliver.
Yeah, and this is something relatively new to us. What we found was that there's not many other companies like ours that are offering this type of marketing capability where you can be as involved, little involved, as fully involved as you want to be. You can market us like we are, well, we'll be partnered after you sign up with us, but you can market us like we're partnered. You can market us like you are the back office behind our system. And then when people come to us, we support you. What's really, really unique about us is that we're super accommodable based on how you work with your client base, how you obtain your client base, what you offer your client base. And if you aren't active with us on this call, when you do become active, you'll see when you speak with a member of our business development team, we're solely going to be all in on, hey, how do you do your business? What do you do in your business? And how can we help complement that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because what happens is every partnership is so different, right? Some partnerships are leveraging us mostly for the technology piece, where they're able to keep track of things and ultimately report on all that they're seeing. Others are leveraging us more for the marketing piece and maybe not so much on the tech piece. A lot of people leverage us for the sales piece, right? It's not easy to leverage all of these products and be able to sell capital in all these different markets. So people will leverage our sales team to be able to sell the products and not have to get involved in the ins and outs or the weeds of every single deal.
And don't think that's a bad thing either. If you are somebody that isn't too familiar with how like a platform like ours works or how a process like ours would work, the good thing is that you have that support and it's there for you if you need it. We hope that you utilize it, but at the end of the day, it's going to be there for you. So you can have a direct relationship with someone on the business development side, helping you grow your partnership. You can have a direct relationship with a advisor on the advising side that you know is going to be working with all of your clients directly. So there's a lot of things that are going to be able to help you get into this if you are relatively new, per se.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. All right. So you've seen kind of what we're all about. Now it's about you taking the next step, right? And what does that actually mean, right? So we figured we would pull the team. We reached out to a few of the team members here. Some of you might have even spoke with these guys in the past or worked with them in the past. But we basically said, hey guys, we work with a lot of partners. What separates the top 1% or the top 5% of partners? What is it that they have in common? So, Tim, I'm going to let you jump in here a bit.
Yeah, sure. So Justin, who's on our business development team, referenced that he thinks somebody who understands that not every business is the same is what's going to make a good partner. Business owners have a variety of different needs. They have a variety of different problems and solutions for those problems. And our referral partners, based on what they do, they typically solve one of those problems. So a good partner for us is someone that says, hey, by getting access to a marketplace like ROK to further service the businesses that I'm already working with, by doing so, I could help the small businesses, I could help the large businesses, I could help people in all 50 states, understanding that there's not a one size fits all box for business financing to someone who makes a good partner.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw that Ryan said it comes down to helping to keep engaged in the process and provide feedback so that we can then work together, right? If we're both engaged in what we're trying to do, which is ultimately build out a funding relationship together, and we can have open communication and feedback back and forth, that will make the process that much more smooth, ultimately leading to a much more beneficial partnership long term.
Yeah. And Nick, who's on our advising side, said that a Rockstar partner communicates with the team that they have access to, not only on the partnership side, but also on the advisory side, because you are going to have multiple points of contact available for you, including them in their business practice. At the end of the day, if we are leveraged as someone that can help you bring on more clients or further provide value to the existing clients, that's what's going to make you a great partner. And one of the best ways to achieve success is by collaborating when connecting ROK to the clients for an intro call, helping gather documents or helping move things along. Like I mentioned earlier, we're very, very accommodable. So if you have someone that you have a very close relationship with, we want to help you leverage that relationship and helping us expedite the process for them. Or maybe you're an affiliate and you don't really have a direct relationship with your clients. How do we bring in that business? What are they being marketed? And the more communication that we get from someone like yourself, the better we can service that client base when you do bring them into us.
Yeah, for sure. This is some rock star information from a few rock stars on the team. So I know we've talked a lot about tech, but I think it's important that you understand that we're backed by the best technology that's available out there, right? In terms of tech companies, Oracle, Salesforce, DocuSign, these are household names. Salesforce is the biggest CRM company in the world. When you leverage our portal, you are logging into our Salesforce CRM. You are getting direct access to everything that every one of our reps have access to.
Yeah. Within that Salesforce is the other applications that you see here. When signing into your Salesforce portal, you have DocuSign ability to send applications to your clients. You have access to Bamboo, which is a application powered by Sprout, which is one of the largest social media platforms out there. You could even share our content and market our content to try to bring in business owners in your funnel. And like Tony mentioned earlier, with different types of marketing content that's in the portal, we use other types of tech that allows us to provide that information back to you, make it white labeled, allow you to put your logo on your content and all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
So the portal. We've talked a lot about what's in the portal, but why would it actually make sense to have access to something like this working with a marketplace like ours, right? First and foremost, a lot of people, when they refer a deal to a lender or to a broker, they don't really know where to go after they refer that deal. When am I going to get my next update? When am I going to hear back from my rep? What am I going to say to my client when he calls me, he or she calls me, and I don't really know where we're at? Well, what we did a few years ago was we built in-house proprietary tech, a portal. First, it was proprietary tech. Then we leveraged Salesforce, thanks to our IT team. But we leverage a portal to say, hey, at any time, it could be 1 a.m. in the morning. It could be the second you wake up. You could log into this portal and see in live time where your business owner is at in the process.
Yep.
Not only that, but you can even click into the opportunity and leave things like notes, upload documents, send applications, send document requests. So like we talked about earlier, you can leverage this technology if you want to, but you don't have to. If you're someone that wants to be hands off, you don't have to leverage that info. But what we developed was a very, very intensive portal that allows you to feel as involved as you wanted to be, if you want to be, and really allow us to show transparency back to our partners when we are working their applications.
Yeah, absolutely. It really comes down to being a part of our team, right? Every day we show up here knowing that, we can get more out of collaboration than we can by trying to do something by ourselves. So we opened up our CRM to allow you to log in and get live time updates on exactly what it is that we're working on together. Get access to the training, get access to the marketing, get access to any of the sales support that you could ever need. It's all right there. It's basically making you a rep on our team, giving you the same access that, anybody else would have.
Right. You're going to get landing pages. You're going to get like logo upload feature into your marketing material, which we're going to go over now. But one of those things that's going to separate us as a company is to allow you to do what you think is best for the partnership. And we're going to be there to support you the entire way.
Yep. So I know we touched on this a little bit before with those 3 lanes that you can kind of start the experiences, right? So if you're thinking about the customers that you work with and what would make the most sense for them, hey, is it to leverage the ROK brand where you have access to your own custom landing page like Tim was talking about? And inside of that landing page, you can either have it ROK branded, co-branded, or white labeled. And that's where that whole experience starts, right? If we know that they came in through a co-branded experience, we're able to leverage that in when our sales team starts to reach out. Hey, we work directly with so-and-so, whoever that partner may be. Or if it's white labeled, we let you kind of take the ball and run with it from where you want to take the ball from. So if you are super involved and you want to be gathering some of those initial docs, we'll stay hands off till you need us to be involved. It's really up to you. Like Tim was saying before, how much or how little you want to be involved.
Yeah, one thing that you won't see here is in the top right corner of all three images where it says speak with a business financing advisor. You'd actually have the ability to add your office phone number, your mobile phone number. So when someone clicks on your landing page, not only is it co-branded or white labeled or ROK branded how you want it to be, but also your email, your phone number will show up in the top right corner.
Your direct contact, exactly.
Now, if you're someone that's, weary about landing pages or weary about things like, hey, well, if the business owner sees this, can't they just go and apply online? Well, what we did was we made our landing page a form that you can't exit off of. You can try to click the ROK logo a million times. You can scroll down and click all the buttons in the world. It's going to bring you right back to the top of that landing page. So like Tony mentioned, we're almost 100% partner driven when it comes to financing business owners. And these are reasons why, because we have access to tools that are going to help you grow business. And this is going to be one of those ways that no client's going to be able to get around this. They can't even leave the landing page if they tried.
So what does our funding process look like, right? What is the exact process? As long as we have a customer whose name, number, and has a need for financing, we can reach out to them, start to establish contact, like Tim mentioned before, way earlier in the beginning of this presentation. We always do like a brief interview where, when a borrower comes in, it helps us really understand the need for borrowing, as well as set the right expectation with them for what documentation they're going to need to provide, and ultimately how long the process might take based on how long it's going to take them to get access to the docs, and get that stuff over to us, right? So you sit back and relax, allow us to leverage the relationship that we've built and step up to the plate and do what we do best and get your customers the best financing options that are available to them on the market today. And then ultimately receive commission, right? Anytime we close a deal, all commissions are paid within 10 business days, always the following Friday after funding, right? So if we funded a deal today, you would get paid next Friday. Today is Thursday. So if you funded it on Monday, you'd still get paid next Friday. If you funded it tomorrow, you'd still get paid when, Tim?
Next Friday. Paying attention. Just to even tap into this slide, yeah, it's great to receive commission like that. And I mean, we as a company understand that, when you're trusting someone like us with your business, you're allowing us to leverage our relationships and our resources. You want to see that commission early. And we have no problem doing something like that. Regardless of what day the deal closes, you're going to see your commission next week. Let's say you're reading this slide and you're seeing number 2, where you're like, hey, I'm not really the type of person to just sit back and relax, especially if it's my client. Now, that's why we developed the portal the way that we did. That's why you're going to have multiple points of contact when you sign up with us. That's why you can log in at any time of day or night and see exactly where your client's at. And if you have any additional questions, reach out to the multiple points of contact that you have access to. So know that our funding process can be this simple, but if you're someone that has a process in place and you want to do things a little bit differently, you're going to have a team member on our team reach out to you to really make this process accommodable and make it to, really what you want it to be.
Yeah, absolutely. We've built a process that we believe is the best partnership process out there. But put us to the test, because the best part about it is that you can customize whatever partnership works for you. Yeah. The more specific you are on how we can work together, the better we're going to be able to be on delivering exactly what that is for you.
For sure.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
Reviews from our partners. We love these. I mean, at the end of the day, you know how it is with brand exposure and brand awareness. And the best part is when we look online and we see a new review, we didn't even have to ask for it. And it's left just because of the service that they provided. And I think it's safe to say that there's a pretty strong mix of both clientele and partners that are comprised of the reviews that we have. One thing that you'll see about us, if you are already working with us, if you're going to work with us after this, we are very, very transparent and honest when it comes to what's available. In today's day, business owners don't have the time to be told X and then come back with something completely different than what they were originally told. And we found this out when we first started our company or started our platform in a very difficult time after the pandemic in 2020. There wasn't that much option out there, and businesses were looking for the best, but there just wasn't the best out there. And what our approach was we're going to be super transparent, genuine, and honest with you about what's available. If it makes sense for you, great. We'll get you access to it in the quickest time possible. And if it doesn't, then maybe we're just not the best fit for you right now.
Yeah, and what's interesting is this review on the right side of the screen here. Shout out to Austin and Mike Gullo. You see how when you are a partner, it's not just about you and the experience that you had. This partner is talking about how their customer, Jose, had nothing but great things to say. What that means is we went out of our way to make sure that their customer had a great experience with us. Only then were they able to go back to our referral partner and say, hey, I had such a great time with Mike Gullo and Austin helping me get funding for my business, right? That's super duper powerful if you're that partner who now can leverage somebody like ROK as a resource, right? I'll put us up against them anytime, but go look up the big banks and what their reviews say, right? Go look up Bank of America's Google reviews or Chase's Google reviews. Nobody in financial services ever wears anything other than a black eye. I always say money makes people act funny, right? The second you talk about high cost money, and I say it like this, high cost, because, compared to any other product out there, money has a very small margin on it. However, when you think about it, everybody, they're conditioned to say, what's the rate? What's the rate? What's the rate? And the second the rate is anything other than 0%, it's astronomical. Right. So think about where we are in the marketplace and what we do and the products that we offer. To have partners that say great things like this, it only goes to show you the type of process and company that we are, and ultimately that you as partners get to leverage.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't even think about that before getting into this slide, and the fact that most financial service companies out there don't have the best rep. Like you mentioned, we're a lot of times wearing the black eye for some people that are just doing the wrong thing in the industry. So by making a really good name for ourselves, being built on a foundation of partners like yourself, not only can you leverage someone like us in the reviews and the platform that we built, but how can you leverage that to help you further provide value to your business? How can you leverage that to go out and get more clients? Maybe you just offer accounting services and credit repair right now, but now you add financing to your website, and now you're bringing in all these different businesses for financing, and you can still market to them that you do accounting and credit repair.
Or you do one type of funding, and now all of a sudden by leveraging ROK, you can do 7 or 8 other kinds.
Sure. And really, regardless of what the service is, I've had marketing companies come in and say, hey, my marketing package costs $5,000 to $10,000. My business owners want to buy it, but they don't have $5,000 to $10,000 laying around. That's why they're trying to buy a marketing package. Now being able to offer them financing to buy that service, they're not only selling more service to more clients, but they're receiving a commission for letting us lend to them. And now they may have a client for the continual future that comes back to them if they're able to do their job in part.
Yeah, absolutely. And, in that scenario, right, the flip side would be, hey, you have 2 choices if there's no funding available. Choice number 1 is you sell them a product that's way less than what you've initially prescribed them, right? Maybe your $5,000 or $10,000 website becomes $500 or $1,000. And now you have a customer that has 1/10 of what they were supposed to get, right? Are they ever really going to come back and be a repeat customer? So, by leveraging the financing, you could potentially be talking about, hey, we can get you access to some sort of marketing budget or potentially a little bit extra capital so that, when you do see the influx in business, you're able to bring in more inventory or hire those employees. So, we could do this all day.
Yeah, I think about this very, very unique experience that I had with a warehouse and a building supply company that pretty much sold construction product. And they've started offering that they'll give 10 to 15% discounts if you spend over X amount of money. And their repeat clients would come to them buying lower than that amount because they knew that that's the only thing that they could afford. And when they're at the checkout and they're filing their invoice and they're paying their invoice and they see the sign that says, oh, what do I need to buy to get the 15% off? Oh, well, if you don't have the capital to do that, I see you only typically buy X from your invoices. Here's access to capital to help you do this and take advantage of the savings. Yeah. But not only are they now taking advantage of the savings, but they're opening up more opportunity in their business to grow. And that's really what it comes down to. How can you leverage our financing outlets to help the clients that you work with, both current and prospective, do more business.
100%. So a couple quick success stories. Nothing too crazy. We fund anywhere from $5,000 to $5 million. And I think that that's really important for you to understand is, our core customer or our, average loan size is about $85,000. So we're doing deals, like I said, as little as 5 to 10, 15, 20,000. And then we're doing few $1 million deals, upwards of 10 to 20, 25 million on some of these large, development style deals that are out there. So, there's a lot of different ways and a lot of different successes and a lot of different stories that we can tell. But I think what these cover are our ability to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I mean, think about it from this angle. There's a lot more businesses making 10 to 100,000 a month than there is making 5 to 10 million a month, right? We're going to be able to service either of those business sizes the same exact way. On the left-hand side, you had a a specialty contractor in the plumbing space come in. What a lot of people have challenges with in the construction space with obtaining traditional financing is not having full-time employees on payroll, is oftentimes just doing the work by yourself or not having any equipment to leverage those assets. You're in a state where it snows and you're mostly outside, or you're a landscaper and you're only busy 6 to 9 months of the year. That's going to pose a challenge. But what this business came to us with was multiple existing loans on their business. So they had multiple payment obligations that they were making, and they still needed access to more capital because they were growing. On top of that, not only did they want to consolidate their existing positions, but they wanted to look at purchasing new equipment for the business so they can continue doing more jobs rather than having 2 or 3 crews out per week or per month. How can we get 3 to 4 crews out per week or per month? So we as a marketplace have the capability to do that. If you have someone that has a $10,000 loan balance and they're generating 50 to 100,000 a month, there's a likelihood that they may just not have gone to the right marketplace to get access to the product that they currently have on their business. And someone like us might work with a lending resource that we've had access to for 10, 12, 15 years that'll do a much longer term, that'll do a much lower rate, that'll do a different payment structure. So if you do have someone that has active loans against their credit, active loans against their business, that's not going to be a determinant to accessing financing through our platform.
No, definitely not. So without further ado, if you are somebody that's new and you are not partnered with us, you can scan this QR code and become a partner now. It's as simple as that. Fill out a quick little short form. Tim was telling you before, one of the members of our business development team are going to reach out to discuss what makes a partnership with you and us successful. They're going to let you outline the success, and ultimately we're going to look to deliver that for you. Before we sign off, thank you to everybody that joined us. Thank you to everybody that put this thing together, and thank you to Tim for joining and rocking out together. It's always great.
T-squared.
T-squared. Tim and Tony coming to a city near you. We'll be in Phoenix next week. If anybody's going to be at the AACF Beat Conference, we will rock out with you there. Otherwise, check us next month for 2 webinars when we'll be back to our regular scheduled programming. Thank you again, everybody, and we'll check you next month.
Signing off for now.